Good morning, guys. Sorry for a delay for the video because it is very hard to make a video during my work, but I always try to make more videos for your information so that you can rectify more and more faults out of these consoles. So, guys, today's video is also on the same fault as you have seen my last video, but I am making this video because maybe there is some other sort of fault that can enhance your knowledge, that can give more knowledge to rectify the faults or errors out of these consoles. So let's start. This one is the console. It is ps3 and 2500 or something model. As you can see, its fault. I am going to turn it on. As you can see that it is the same fault, but there is a slight difference because there is no click sound from the power, and the green light delays some milliseconds as compared to the last fault. In my last video, the green light turns off instantly within no time, but this green light stays for 2 seconds, so that I am saying that it is sort of a different fault, and hopefully the prediction is that it would be a sort of part that has deteriorated its value and must be in power section. Let's see, we will try to fix it, and let's open it. So guys, the board is out of the console, and it looks neat and clean. It's mean nobody has touched it for any destruction. So as I told you that first of all I will check for its power supply. Here it is off, and now it is on, and you can see the standby light here. Yes, I need a ground. Yes, I will connect it here, and let's check for its power supplies. I need to check all of its power supplies. If you can see the oscilloscope properly. Here are the power supplies: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 and 10. It consists of 10 different kind of power supplies for different components. So, and basically there are 12 power supplies. One is here. This power supply is for the internal components of this CPU, and one more power supply is here. This is also for the internal component of the CPU through this coil. So we must check all. Now I am going to turn it on and it is off. So let's check. So I will start from here. Basically I will check first for the input oscillations on the PWM of the buck controller chip on all the chokes inputs. So I will turn it to an analog mode and let's start. Yes, oscillation is available on this choke, and on this point it is also available. On this choke it is 12 volt choke. Need not to check because these 12 volts are coming from this choke. This is 12 volt choke that is directly connected to this 12 volt, this choke. And for the GPU power supply, it has two chokes, your two coils, 1 and 2. I will check on the inputs of these chokes. Yes, oscillation available. On this choke it is also available, and the CPU has also two chokes for its power supply. I will check on the inputs. Yes, and here it is also in order. Okay, here I will check for the internal components of the RAM of the CPU. This power supply, its input is here. Yes, clock is available. If you want to check the output, here it is the output. It is 1.2 volts. Even you can check here. Yes, and second last is this one. It is maybe 5 volt power supply, and its input oscillation is available, and the output you can check here and also here, and the 5 volts are available. Fine. This choke is for 12 volts and 12 volts are available. It means all the power supplies, the 10 power supplies are working fine. Now come to this power supply, that is the internal component power source for this CPU. For this its method is to check the input here on these points. Yes, it is 1.9 volt or 8 volts, and the output is here. It is 1.5 volts. It's fine. It looks fine. And in the last, I already told you about this FET. Its input is here. its input is here, this one. Yes, 1.9 volt are available, and the output is this test point, this test point. Yes, it has no output. So guys, as you have seen that the output from this FET is not available. I will tell you the reason why it is not. And because the output from it is because I will tell you, if I tell you in detail, the output from this FET is this one, and this output, that is 1.5 volts, are going through this coil. These are the 3 points. Through this coil it is going to the CPU, and on the other hand, from this FET, its input is this one, and the output is here, this one or this one. It is going through this coil, this one, and it also usable for this CPU. Now I will check for the biasing of this FET. If you can see it properly, there is the standby button, and I was checking this input. This input was 1.9 volt or 8 volt, and this was the output that was not available, and it is still not available. These 3 resistances, 1, 2 and 3, this one, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, the one of the resistance in this circuit, the one of the resistance, maybe this one is for the feedback for the current from this CPU to this FET chip, that limits the output current. This resistance is a coupling resistance that gives feedback to this CPU, this FET. The feedback of what feedback? As you can see, the output is here, and I will show you closely. The input volts for 1.8 volt is this one, and the output is this one, and you can see that this test point is the output, and it is going out to this choke. This is a small coil, and then these small 4 holes that is giving the volts to this CPU internal components. So this resistance, this one, as you can see, this resistance is connected with output terminals, and it is giving a feedback through this coupling resistance to this resistance, and this resistance is giving signal to this FET that detects that is there any kind of overcurrent. If there will be an overcurrent, these output voltages will not be available. So it's mean there must be a kind of fault that the feedback from this CPU to this chip, the FET chip, is not at its proper value. So let's check it. Here you can see I will will check for all the resistors. This should be at 1.9k, and yes, it is. And the other one must be at 1.9k. Yes, it is 1.9k. And this resistance, in some motherboards this resistance is at the value of 90 ohm, and some motherboards has a resistance at value of 55 ohm. So we will check this resistance. It is now I could not connect it properly. Should connect it. Yes, it is not of 55 ohm. It is not at the value of 55 ohm, but it is 0.691 kilo ohm, means 690 ohm. It should be at 55 ohm or 90 ohms. So maybe it is the basic fault of this motherboard. So let's try to reflow this resistance first. Maybe it will set its value. This is the resistance. Basically, we must change this resistance because it can change back its value again with non-proper values. For you, I am trying to show you the reason of this fault so that I am reflowing it. And if at this moment we check for its value, if you remember in PS4 Pro, my PS4 Pro video, I have changed resistance that gives feedback of the power supply of CPU, and it was fixed. Yes, I got it. Oh my god. I think I have lost the resistance. No, it is here. Now if I check for its value again, it should be at 55 ohm. Yes, it is at 55 ohm. Let's check it again. Here it is at standby, and now I will turn it on, and yes, it is no more turning off. And if the processor will heat up, it will give 3 beeps. It will give 3 beeps and it will shut down. Yes. So now I will check you again after fixing this motherboard on the heatsink and fan assembly. Let's fix it. And surely I will put this fan jack, and for the instant display I will insert the HDD, and we need this power strip to turn it on, and here I must connect the HDMI cable, and the power cables too. I forgot for the power cables. This, and now I'm going to turn it on. Yes, fan is running, and here you can see the display if it is available. Yes, no games installed in this console, so it's fine. That's all from now, guys. I think this fault that I have rectified may help in your job, and you can rectify more and more faults similar to this one and some kind of other faults. God bless you. Thank you. Goodbye.